Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to She Boss Talk. I am Shantae Arati coming on with some exciting news regarding the Paycheck Protection Program and the forgiveness process. So I'm going to be talking today about getting approved and how I got approved for two of my first draw PPP applications. And I'm going to take you through my experience and the steps that I went through so that it helps you in your process to get your PPP loan forgiven. So do come on in. Just want to welcome you in. Want to make sure that you all can hear me and see me. So as you're coming on, just let me know. Somebody just let me know in the comments that you can hear me clearly. So we make sure that everyone gets this information. It's always important. And do let me know who you are, where you're hailing from as usual. Look, we are all over social media, so please make sure that you connect with us wherever you are. Do go over to our YouTube channel and help and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you hit notification button so you know anytime that we go live, because you know we have been sharing important information throughout this entire pandemic to really help business owners and entrepreneurs like you not only survive, but be able to thrive during this time. So it's important that we share information. I had just actually posted because I had a phone call with a young lady who's an independent contractor. She's a 1099 worker, and she called me. She had no clue that she qualified for the Paycheck Protection Program funding. She had no clue that she could potentially qualify for the EIDL program. So I just want to thank every single one of you all that continuously share our videos and our channel and our content, because you are helping to save another small business. And we need more of that, because so many, especially in the underserved communities, aren't getting the access. They're not getting the outreach. They're not getting the information that they need to be able to get access to these funds. And businesses are still struggling. So whatever we can do to help you all to be able to to be able to thrive at this time, that's what we want to do. So I'm going to take you through this process. I will be doing another video probably on Thursday to walk you through the PPP appeals process, because as you go through the forgiveness, not everyone will be approved, or you may be approved for less than what you thought you would be approved for. So there is an appeal process, but I'm going to go in detail in a separate video, explainer video specifically for that on Thursday. So stay tuned for that. But forgiveness, PPP forgiveness, just want to give good news. I'm very excited about it, that my two first draw PPP loan applications were forgiven. That means it turned into a grant. That means I don't have to pay back this loan. That means I got a congratulations email from my lender saying that the SBA approved my application and I have a zero balance, zero owed. That's what we want for every business that's out there that has been funded through the Paycheck Protection Program. Just so you know, 93% of the businesses that have been funded are businesses that took out loans of less than $150,000. And those are really the ones that still have loans that need to be forgiven. So I want to encourage you in this video to take the opportunity to submit your applications when your lender is ready and when you are ready, when you have used the funds on eligible expenses that you want, and during the cover period of between 8 and 24 weeks, then you want to submit that application. And I can tell you it was a really easy process for me to go through. I did not use, well, I'll be talking about the new direct portal from the SBA. I did not use that because, first of all, my lenders that I use have been phenomenal through this entire process. Communication has been great every step of the way, funded very quickly. So I'm appreciative of that. And they are not opted in. So they have the process down. They have their systems. They have the technology in place to start the forgiveness process. So I did not have to use the direct portal, but I know so many of you all applied through lenders that it was not such a great experience. The communication has been terrible. If you have had any communication and your lender may have gone out of business. So the portal, the direct portal, would be available for you. So I'm going to just take you through the process again of my application. So I submitted my applications, 2 of them, to the same lender, which is PayPal. Okay. So PayPal was the lender for my first draw loans for 2 companies. So some of you all have 2 companies, or even more than that, and you submitted an application and got funded for each of those businesses. Congratulations. Okay. So I did the same, and I submitted my application on August the 3rd. It only took 1 day for my lender to come back with requested information, and what they requested was not additional documentation, but for me to sign the 3508S. Okay, so that is the most streamlined, easiest document form. That is the application you're filling out or online version of it that you're filling out if you were funded $150,000 or less. Okay, so I signed that through DocuSign. I did that, and then on August the 5th, okay, so it was really quick. August the 5th, PayPal, my lender, came back and said that I was approved from them. So they're the first line of approval. Okay, first line of approval, and to submit my information or my application to the SBA to get that last and final approval. So they did that on the 5th. And 6 days later, on August the 11th, my lender sent me an email congratulating me on the fact that my PPP application had been approved, and that I have a 0 balance, that no further action is needed on my part. Okay. But what do I want to do? What do I always say to do? You want to always keep every single piece of documentation and correspondence, just in case something should show up later, come up later, that is in opposition to what they told me. I have my proof with my loan number, my application number, and the email that they said that I owe $0 back to the SBA. Okay, so you want to keep your documentation. But I mean, I was through the moon. So the email came in for the one business, then almost immediately for the second business. So I was just playing tag team between the 2 businesses to get the information in. And so even the congratulations email, literally, I think within minutes, I received emails for both businesses congratulating me on getting my application approved. Now, those were for the first draw. So we know that some of you all got funded the first draw, and then also had an opportunity before the program ended at the end of May to get your second draw of funds for yourself. So I was able to get a second draw for one of my businesses. So at this point, I'm still waiting on that. So I waited to submit the application for the first draw, because the cover periods can't overlap. So I was very careful about the cover periods for every single application. And it's in especially my second draw application. And so I've been corresponding. So my bank, Huntington, is actually the lender of that loan. And then, so they have been really good about following up with status as well. So I do not anticipate that it would take long to get an approval for this. And as I always do, once I get that one approved, I will let you all know at that point as well. And when that happens, that would have meant that I would have been funded 3 times and had it fully forgiven. That's why I pushed and pushed and pushed and advocated and shared information regarding this program, because I knew how beneficial it would be, and that it applied to all types of businesses, including gig workers, right? 1099 independent contractors that may not have qualified for other types of funding opportunities available because they're maybe not registered as legally as a business. So this was an opportunity for you to get access to this program. So that's really an exciting thing for me to be able to say that I was able to go through this and easily as I did. Now, for those of you, again, you have lenders, maybe you went through a smaller bank or smaller credit union or another organization, maybe a broker that had other smaller lenders. If you are having an issue, you may be able to go through the new SBA Direct for PPP Forgiveness Portal, It is a super easy, because I walked through it in another PPP video, which we do have. You can go to our pet playlist on our YouTube channel. But I did go to that website. It's easy to register. You go through the authentication process, and then you can put in your loan number. They will be able to pull it up, and you will be able to see if your lender has opted in. Now, I know they have increased the amount of lenders that have opted into the program. They're now up to 1,170-ish. The number changes all the time, like every day. There are new lenders opting into the program. And I did see a lot of credit unions on there. So you will see the link in the description and the show notes to the Forgiveness Portal, as well as the lender list. So you can check it out for yourself, go through that list and see if your lender is on there. Now, a lot of the big banks have not opted into the portal because they already have the capacity and the resources and the technology to set up their portal. So you won't see like Bank of America or PNC on there. I didn't even see PayPal on there, right? Because they're already up and running. Square, my understanding is that they're still in process. Opening up their PPP loan forgiveness applications. If you apply through Square, let me know where you are in that process for forgiveness. But no, if they have not started, they should be doing that soon. Or maybe they're already on working through 2020 funded recipients before they actually move on to those that were funded in 2021. It just depends on your lender as to what part of the process that they're in. But regardless, they should not hold you up, your process up, and put you in a position where they have not opened up the application. Now your loan is due, right? And now your first month's payment is due. So we don't want that. Give me just a second. Sorry about that. People are always calling me as soon as I go live. Okay, so you definitely, again, want to look up your lender. And also those that, if you went through Blue Acorn, if you went through Womply, Smart Biz Loans, they all have a landing page for forgiveness. You could just simply Google Womply PPP loan forgiveness, and it would take you to their page where they have information on how to get forgiveness, right? They will tell you where they are in the process, when they expect to open up applications. So I highly encourage you to be able to do that, because those platforms are brokers who were actually helping funnel you to lenders that were handling your application. So please do know the difference. And if you went through any of these platforms, make sure you look at your paperwork, right? That you received when you got funded. Which name was on your paperwork? Was it Womply? Was it Blue Acorn? Was it Smart Biz Loans? Or was it the lender that actually funded your loan? Okay, you want to know that. So go back to your information, your correspondence, confirm that. Then based on that, then you can then go to the lender list and see if they are indeed on the list as opted in to the Forgiveness Portal, the SBA's Forgiveness Portal. Now, I have peers that have gone through the SBA's portal. It's as simple as the process that I said with with PayPal and Huntington. Is very streamlined. They follow the 3508S form that can be found on the SBA's website. It's super simple. You don't have to upload any additional documentation. That's the benefit of having a streamlined process, unless there's some type of an issue that comes up, through the process, and that can happen. Just depends on who is individual to each application. Because we know there were some applications that it has some discrepancies, whether intentional or not. There may be a situation where you were overfunded. It's determined that you were overfunded. So you're not entitled to as much as you thought you were entitled to. And there are some instances, will be fewer. You may find that you won't be entitled to any money because it could be an issue of fraud or identity theft or some type of issue like that. But as I said before, there's an appeal process. So I'm going to go through that process in a separate video so that I can make sure I go through every single thing that you need to know if you're found to be in a situation that you need to appeal. Now, if you have applied for forgiveness, please let me know in the comments if you have applied and where you are in that process. Are you still waiting? Have you been approved? Have you been funded? And are you one of those that it came back that you were overfunded, or that your loan amount is the forgiveness amount is less than what you actually requested? I really like to know this. I want to continue to monitor this because I always have people come back to me with questions to try to figure out what to do, what are the next steps if these different types of scenarios come up. Or if you had any other type of scenario come up that may be unusual, please let us know as well. Because I think these are beneficial to be able to help people through the process and overcome any potential challenges that they may have. And please do, I usually say this at the beginning, but do make sure that if you have any questions, leave them here. I'll try to answer some as I'm on air. And if I don't get to them all, I definitely follow up after the broadcast to answer any questions that you have as well. You will see on my screen, I have it here because I want people to know. Some people, they don't necessarily know what the SBA is. They know, I got this PPP loan. People told me to go get it. But the SBA is a wonderful organization that if you are in business, you need to make sure that you understand the purpose that they serve. They have a lot to offer for small business. COVID is not the only thing that they do. They have a lot of different opportunities, programs, initiatives, specifically for small businesses. But they are ministering all of these different programs, these funding programs, which is not typical for the SBA to be doing. Is just that during COVID, they were designated as the administrators of all of these programs. So you will find all information related to PPP forgiveness on their website. You will also find in the description and in the show notes, I provided the number. So they have a specific contact number. So I always say if there's some question or challenge you're having regarding any application for any of these SBA stimulus relief programs, they always have a designated email. So make sure that you're contacting the right email, you're using the right email, and then they always have a designated number for the program. So they have a designated number, and I have highlighted the hours that they are in operation in the show notes for you, as well as other resources that can assist you in supporting your business. I will briefly just go back over because I know everyone that's watching, again, most everyone has a loan of $150,000. If you have a loan above that, then you would be using either the 3508 EZ or the 3508 form. Okay, so as I said, most of the larger companies that got above that, above 150 or like in the millions of dollars have already received forgiveness. And we know most of those got funded through the bigger banks. They were the ones that got funded earlier on. It was those smaller businesses like myself that really were left out until later in the game. So that's why it was a rush to make sure that we got our applications in to get approved and to be able to get funded. But there are still, if you were funded more, again, just know what form that you need. And then when you go to your lender, they will have that on your portal too. They will ask you which category. They will ask you a series of questions so you know what category you fit into, what form that you would need to use. And then you would know also if there's any additional supporting documentation you would need to provide for your application. And then they also have a listing of expenses. So I said that you need to make sure have forgiveness that you spend at least 60% on salary, right? So on payroll, right? So at least 60% on payroll, and then the other 40% on other eligible expenses. So I'm just really quickly just going to go through some of those just for those. I've said them before. I've mentioned them in other videos. But just want to go through some of the non-payroll because this question not only comes up for PPP, but some of the other stimulus funds But they always will outline, again, you can find all this information on sba.gov, but they always outline how you can use the funds. And I know some people are afraid to use the money. Don't be afraid to use the funds that you were given. Just use them for what they were intended. Okay, so we all know they're not for personal use. They're for business use. Okay, so you use it for salary. So even if you're an owner, it's your salary replacement, right? It's your salary replacement. So once you allocate it to your salary and you put the money in your personal account, then you use your salary like you would for any other personal reasons. Okay, but you first must allocate it, then save those documents to show that it was properly allocated to your salary. And then the other non-payroll related expenses that you can spend it on would include mortgage interest payments. And these are some of the documents that you may need to submit. These are for the larger loans, not the ones that are $150K or less, but you will need to, you can pay on mortgage interest, your rent or lease payments, business utility payments, not home payments. Okay, so covered operational expenditures. And then when you're doing this and you're supplying the documentation, if you have to supply documentation, you know that you have to provide, is citing here what is included as acceptable documentation to show that you spent it on these things. We know that they added, you have covered operational expenditures, property damage, costs related to, 2020, any rioting, any damages regarding that was not covered by your insurance, covered supplier costs that you may have, covered worker protections, any PPE equipment or services that you provide. But this is not, and it stays on here, an all-inclusive list, but that is really a good list to know exactly what you would be spending your funds on, and then what you would need to do, or what documents you would then need to provide in order to satisfy and show that you paid on your lease, right? Or you paid that your payroll, you have payroll statements, or you have invoice statements. So they outline those here on the website on sba.gov. Now, know that if you're getting an email from the SBA, because we know people have had issues with this before, determining is this legitimate or not. If you get an email from the SBA, please do not ignore it. You just check the email signature line, the signature, or the email address, I would say, and make sure that it has sba.gov on the end. If it has sba.gov, then you know it is the SBA, and that you need to be responding as quickly as possible to make sure that you expedite getting your loan forgiven. Now, as far as the PPP program in itself, we know that the SBA officially closed the program to new applicants. I get people asking me this all the time. It is closed. There has been no indication that they're going to reopen this program or extend it again beyond the last extension. But I have heard that those that were in the pipeline, and I mean, when I say in the pipeline, that you are already approved and waiting to get funded from the SBA, that some people are still getting funded. So if that is you, because people contact me every day and say, I'm still in the process, I haven't heard anything. But I know some people you have heard, and they said that you were denied because the program ran out of funds, which they did. They closed the program. But if you in the last few days or weeks received funds from the SBA for PPP, please let me know in the comments. Again, that would be very helpful for other business owners that contact me to see if they are still issuing out funds. But if they are, it means that they were already allocated, meaning that you are approved already, and the only thing left to do was to issue you the funds. You are already there. Okay. That's it for PPP. I just want to go through and just see if there are any questions. I see you all out here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Just want to see if there are any major questions here. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for the congratulations. I know I'm excited. I'm just as excited for you all when you send me your emails and text messages and messenger messages saying that you got approved. and your loan has been forgiven. Congratulations to all of you all. But I know that there's still many more of you all that need to get your loans forgiven. And I know that I continue to get questions about how to get it forgiven, right? And again, if we're not sharing information, if they have no clue, then I don't want businesses to unnecessarily have to then be stuck with the loan. And now it's a great loan, great terms, great loan terms, but it is not good if you were expecting to have it forgiven, and because you don't know what steps to take, it's not forgiven, then you're shocked when you get that first notice that you have a payment that's due. Okay. So we definitely want to, make sure that you know about it. So again, I just encourage you all to continue to share the information. Let me just see here. So I'm looking at a comment, and she's referencing the first draw and second draw PPP and 60% of payroll. I'm not clear on what you're stating, but just to clarify, you can get full forgiveness on each of your loans. So if you have multiple PPP loans, or you have a first draw, second draw, you get 100% forgiveness, so you can qualify for 100% on each one. It's not divvied up, right? It's not half on first draw, half on the second draw. That's not what I signed up for. I went for, and I'm getting 100% forgiveness on first draw and second draw. Now I know the requirements for second draw are a little bit different than first draw, and I mentioned before that they are using a alternative calculation to just better streamline the process for determining if you if you met the 25% gross revenue or gross sale reduction that is required for your second draw. So just know that. So once you go through the first draw and you apply for your second draw, that's the difference, is that there may be a question on their calculation method that they're going to be using to just determine that you met that requirement. Because if you had under 150,000, if you didn't provide the documentation to show that you had a decrease of 25% in an 8-week period compared to that same period in 2019, then you just had to provide it on the back end once you requested forgiveness. Okay. So that's where they're streamlining further that process to not further burden the lender or you as the borrower. So if you got second draw PPP funds, let me know in the comments. Okay, so we have one viewer. She was approved for second draw, signed the documents in May, and she's having a problem getting her bank verified. That's interesting. Thank you for letting us know. So there could be any potential types of issues that may come up during the process. So it's important that's why I'm thankful you all let me know what type of issues you have, so I can then further investigate and find out what's going on, so then we can share this information so other business owners know what to expect, or if they encounter that same challenge, how to be able to overcome that challenge. Okay, so I do have a question about EIDL. So this is a PPP, but I did an EIDL update yesterday. I'll be doing another one sometime this week, but I just want to let you all know, because I never know who's new on here. This program has closed. We're just trying to get everyone that was funded forgiveness, but the EIDL program, that's the Economic Injury Disaster Loan and Grant programs, are still open and available to entrepreneurs and business owners, nonprofits just like yourselves, to apply for. Okay. But no, you have to meet certain requirements, just like you did for the PPP, and that loan is not forgivable. That's why they have the grant, okay, up to $15,000. So we have a playlist on our YouTube channel. Do subscribe, go to that playlist, check out the video that you need. We have step-by-step explainer videos that have helped many businesses get funding. Many businesses overcome the denials to get funded. So go check out those videos that are there. You do need a 570 credit score for the EIDL program in order to qualify to get a loan, not the grant. Your credit doesn't matter with regards to the grant. and you do not have to accept the loan in order to get the targeted EIDL grant either. I say this because many people, there's a lot of misinformation out there and people just don't know. They didn't think to apply for the grant because they figure, oh, I was denied the loan, so I didn't think I qualified for the grant. That is not true. So don't lose out on more money because you just don't understand the process. Ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions, but ask the right people, right? So we answer questions all the time, but some of you all get so much misinformation out there that you don't know what to do, okay? So someone is asking about the 25% reduction. Yes, your profit and loss statement, as I've said previously, is the best way to be able to show your 25% reduction. Okay, you can simply find it in your accounting system in a click of a button, right? So your transactions are funneling into your accounting system, whether you use QuickBooks or Xero or Wave or some other accounting system. And there's a section for reporting, and profit and loss reports is one of the top reports that is requested. And that is the one that you use to be able to determine in any given period of time what you made and be able to demonstrate if you had a decrease or not. Okay. All right. Well, with that said, I think that's it for the major questions that I had on here. Again, feel free to continue to leave them. Again, do subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're enjoying our content. Help us to get to that 25,000. That's our next milestone, and we're definitely going to have a celebration and be giving out some gifts. And we are working on bringing you a number of different initiatives in the very near future. I know a lot of you all want to learn how to maximize your YouTube channel to make money. So we're going to be showing you about that. We're going to be talking about and teaching about how to become more bankable as a business. How do you build a bankable brand that makes it easy to get access to funding? Okay, so we know there's a lot of challenges out there, but there are steps that you can take to make the process easier for you to get access to funds. So we have a number of different masterclasses available on demand. We have our winning grant application cheat sheet that has just been selling like hotcakes. Even this week, our masterclass that's been selling like hotcakes, and that has helped thousands of businesses get millions of dollars. There's still other types of funding available, so we're still helping get small businesses capital that they need. $25K today or by tomorrow. So if you apply today, get approved today, you can be funded as early as tomorrow. So I know businesses still need money, even with PPP. Some weren't eligible for the program. Some didn't qualify. Some didn't get it in time. But know that there are other funding options out there and available to you. There are many, many options to help you in supporting your business. So I just want to make sure that you know that, and you can find all those resources in the description and in the show notes. Use them and then share those same links, share the same information with your peers who need the access to the same information that you do. As usual, continue to be the boss with amplified impact. Continue to stay safe and in good health. Have a wonderful day.